As one of the most spoken languages in the world and the common tongue of business, education, and entertainment, learning English is nearly a necessity these days. Wisdom and knowledge are oftentimes confused. Knowledge is a body of facts, theories, information, and ideas that one can accumulate through observation. Life is useless. Don't be surprised when you see that the government oppresses the poor and denies them justice and their rights. Thoughts about life. A good reputation is better than expensive perfume, and the day you die is better than the day you are born. It is better to go to a home where there is mourning than to one where there is a party. A time for everything. Everything that happens in this world happens at the time God chooses. He sets the time for birth and the time for death, the time for planting and the time for pulling up, the time for killing and the time for healing, the time for tearing down and the time for building. He sets the time for sorrow and the time for joy, the time for mourning and the time for dancing, the time for making love and the time for not making love. What a wise person does. Invest your money in a foreign trade and one of these days you will make a profit. Put your investments in several places. Many places even because you never know what kind of bad luck you are going to have in this world. No matter which direction a tree falls, it will lie where it fell. When the clouds are full, it rains. If you wait until the wind and the weather are just right, you will never plant anything and never harvest anything. One of the most analyzed areas where the use of language is determined by the situation is the formality scale. The term register is often used as shorthand for formal or informal styles, but many world argue that this is simplistic definition because register is about more than just formality, as we have already said. You see foreigners in malls and schools. You met them as you walk in parks and in resorts. You find them almost everywhere. Chinese, Koreans, Indians, Americans, and many Europeans whose nationalities you cannot readily identify until you hear them talk. Some are white, others are black, and many are brown like us Filipinos and most other Asians. You notice that they are not dressed differently from how most Filipinos are attired unless they are Indians or Muslims. And you tell to yourself that this is one result of living in a global village. Read often and read out loud. Reading will help in the repetition of seeing what English words look like. Reading out loud will help you pair the sound of words to the text on the page. Remember that reading books with dialogue is also great for deriving meaning from context clues and will usually involve conversation that you would hear in everyday life.